Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action in today's session, where on many of the Fed-related days, we had a pretty wild session, but major indexes closed with losses today. Ken, your thoughts on what we saw in the session?
Well, it was. I think overall it was a pretty orderly decline here. It was looking really good. A nice move off lows after the Fed minutes were released. Some selling during the final half hour of trading, but all in all, a pretty orderly decline today. And volume never picked up the pace in the Nasdaq and the NYSE, coming in pretty close to what we saw on Tuesday, which was light volume.
Yeah,
We
and
do have
what stocks do we have to tap?
three stocks to look at today. I like the price action in Serepta Therapeutics (SRPT). Good earnings there recently, and some interesting possible FDA news coming up later this year. Denbury in the oil and gas sector, some buyout buzz there, and finally commercial metal (CMC) holding up well as it tries to clear a base here.
All right, well, we will get to those stocks, but first, let's take a look at the major indexes. So the Nasdaq today down about 1.25%. Harder hit than that, though, was the Russell 2000. Small caps down 1.6% by the end of the day. The S&P 500 down 0.7%, and the Dow off by about 0.5%. But a pullback here, not unexpected, Ken. And like you said, it was orderly. We did close off the lows, and the Nasdaq here just came down to touch or almost touch its 10-day line.
Yeah, it really just looks like a test of this short-term support level here. Volume right now on the homepage of investors.com showing NASDAQ volume about 2% higher than yesterday. So if it does end up being just a smidge higher, it probably would qualify as a distribution day, but it would only be the NASDAQ's second, and volume's a close call on the NYSE as well. So it's possible we could get distribution days for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, but it would only be one for the S&P 500 and two on the NASDAQ. So still a pretty light count there. But yeah, looking at the NASDAQ chart, this, an orderly pullback, considering the scope of the gains and from that move past the 11,000 level, a pullback even down to the 21-day moving average, would just really not be enough to damage this index. So it probably wants to digest its gains a little bit. Maybe support at the 10-day line will hold, but a test of the 21-day line, not out of the question. Again, considering how far we've come up off the lows.
Right. And that would actually be constructive because a number of the leading stocks that we've looked at, whether it's some of the solar stocks or you have stocks like Enphase or even Previous, some of these other stocks are extended or not in a viable position. So a pullback here might just give a little bit more time for those to develop either some follow-on entries or additional bases. And I think to increase overall market exposure, some investors might feel more comfortable doing that after we do see a touch of the 21-day line for the NASDAQ if we do get some sort of reversal or bounce off of that level. That could be a good place to or a good time in the market trend to add some exposure if investors felt a little light in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so if we get the pullback that a few are expecting at this point, it does give individual stocks out there some time to catch their breath. And all this week on IBD Live, we've been looking at weekly charts that show 4, 5, 6 up weeks in a row, and stocks like this, even Denbury's in that. We'll look at Denbury in just a little bit, but a lot of up weeks in a row before today's big move. So you want to be careful about chasing stocks, but if this pullback plays out, we would expect to see more actionable setups in terms of individual stocks.
Yeah. Well, just one of the scenarios that we are modeling. We, of course, are open to all scenarios as they unfold. And I do want to take a quick look at an intraday chart for QQQ, which tracks the NASDAQ 100, just to show that reaction to the Fed minutes, Ken, because we did get a strong pop, but really closed back where we were before the minutes were released at 2 p.m. Eastern. So I think it just shows that investors need to be careful about reading too much into that initial reaction and trying to aggressively position based on that.
Yeah, like I said, it was not a bad day at all for the stock market here. I mean,
Yeah.
we did have a meaningful decline in the Nasdaq, but when the Fed minutes came out, there was an initial positive reaction to the minutes, and I was talking with Dave Chung. It seemed like there was a statement in the minutes that said the Fed acknowledged the possibility that they could, overshoot with their tightening, and they were cognizant of that. And the market took that to mean, well, maybe we'll get some 50 basis point hikes, maybe a 25 basis point hike, and the Fed's not going to have to really be as aggressive as first thought. So that caused an initial pop in the market. But again, it wasn't a bad day in terms of the overall price action in the market, but there was some selling during the final 30 minutes of trading. So it wasn't a great close, but again, this is we're very early in a pullback here, and not seeing a lot of sell signals in individual stocks. So, like I said this morning, we still have to respect this uptrend and watch how this pullback plays out.
Yeah, and not only the uptrend, but the power trend, right,
That's
Ken?
right. Yeah,
With action above the 21-day line and a rising 50-day line. So we'll have to see. Not all power trends work, but we're in one right now. So
absolutely.
we'll
Yeah.
respect it. Okay, and next, let's just take a quick look at the other major indexes. Here's the S&P 500 after bumping its head up against the 200-day line in Tuesday's session. We did come down from that level today, but still a lot of room between the S&P's action and the 10-day moving average. And for the Dow, we did get above the 200-day line and closed right around that round number at 34,000, hanging on to its seat above the 200-day line in the Russell 2000, which is tracked by the IWM ETF here. We did see, like I said, small caps taking the hardest hit today, back below the 200-day line and the 2000 level on the index here for small caps.
You can see volume today, excuse me, volume today with the IWM below average, but still rose quite a bit from what we saw on Tuesday. So again, even just looking at the S&P 500 and Dow charts, volume was very, very light yesterday, and we're going to come in pretty close to that today. So even though we could end up putting a distribution day on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, it certainly never had the feel of violent selling today. It just more or less seemed like an orderly pullback, like I said.
That's right. Okay, well, moving on and taking a look at stocks showing notable action. SRPT holding up on a down day, up 1% today. Volume is light, but this is a stock that's had a lot of volume coming into it as it's been on the move out of this space. A strong earnings report, or at least one that the street liked, with solid top line growth. It's hanging just under that 20% profit taking zone, right around that 10-day line here, Ken. So your thoughts on how to handle this stock?
Well, it's a biotech that is under accumulation, so we like that. We see the accumulation distribution rating of A. Now you've got obviously on the weekly chart a lot of up weeks in a row here, but again, this is a stock that's being accumulated, and for good reason. It's got good revenue. It generates a lot of revenue for some drugs that treat Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a pretty severe form of muscular dystrophy that affects young boys actually, and so they've got a couple of three approved drugs on the market right now, but they are going to be looking to file a biologics license application with the FDA in the fall for yet another indication for a gene therapy treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So a lot of buzz around this stock, and I like the way it's working here. This is one on my watch list. We're just going to see if it can, consolidate here for a little while, but has made a major move. A lot of confidence that the FDA is going to approve this application. But again, this won't be until the fall. But we'll watch and see if it can consolidate near highs today, and if this market can hold itself together. A little consolidation, we could see another entry here.
Yeah, definitely one for the watch list there. And this biotech group now number 3 out of 197. So really making strides over the last couple of months here, all the way to the top of the rankings. This is a huge group, but we're seeing a number of stocks that are looking like standouts.
Yeah, definitely. Catalyst was another one. I don't have the ticker off my hand, but a lot of biotechs just showing nice accumulation. So, paying attention to stocks that are rising in very heavy volume. And yeah, here's Catalyst. I mean, look at another weekly chart that shows major accumulation on this breakout, and the stock is not really giving up much ground. So biotechs like this are just good to keep on your watch list because obviously there's something good going on at the company,
Yes.
and Catalyst not giving back much in the way of
Mhm.
gains so far either.
Yeah, and the ticker there, CPRX. Well, let's take a look at Denbury, DEN, oil and gas producer here, up over 12% in strong volume on some buyout buzz. And leading up to today, has had a lot of up days versus down days and above average volume as it carves the right side of the base. So following up on that with a breakout, and interesting to see a strong move here today because we've been commenting on how Denbury was just the superstar in the group in 2021, but it's been pretty lackluster, kind of a sleeping giant for the last year plus. But now it's trying to come back and work its way back to new highs.
Yeah, Denbury primarily operates in the Gulf Coast, and they also have operations in the Rocky Mountain region. But yeah, this one I had been watching as it traded around the 80 level, and then just around noon or 1 o'clock Eastern time, volume there it is. Volume just kind of really rolled into the stock. So there was an unconfirmed report that this company is considering strategic alternatives. Nothing confirmed, but that is what spiked the volume in Denbury, whether it's going to put it up for sale or what have you. But it's just, you know, the company denied the report, so it still brought a lot of
Mm-hmm.
buyers into the stock. So when you look at the weekly chart here again, you do have several up weeks in a row, and even this is in the early stages of breaking out of a very long consolidation here. I'd just be a little careful after what looks like 5 up weeks in a row. Denbury could pause here and maybe pull back to some short-term moving averages and for a better entry. So be careful about chasing it, even though it
Right.
looks like it's still in the buy zone here. It's run up a lot, so just be careful.
Yeah, it's almost 30% above that 10-week line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the very least, it would be good to see a pause. And also, with that being said, Ken, when you see a stock surging on a buyout rumor, how does that factor into the equation of should I add this to my portfolio?
Well, again, like I said, just don't pay attention to the news today, and just if you're looking at the stock, it needs to take a little breather here. It's probably been rising. Who knows? Maybe just in anticipation of this report, but you just don't want to chase it here. But the fact that there is a headline that moved the stock today, maybe you just want to watch it for a little bit. Certainly, showing signs of accumulation and kind of in the early stages of coming out of a long consolidation here. Of course, the risk is you could see a headline that says, "Well, we're not considering strategic alternatives,"
Right.
and then the stock could fall. So either way, just kind of wait and see if it can digest gains here and pause near highs.
Mm-hmm. All right. And IBD has been tracking various metal related stocks like CMC, which after today, I believe, should have a handle with 5 days starting on this down day. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yep, after today, I guess this would be considered a handle here, but a recent move above a double bottom entry right around that 43 level. Yet another stock that we've seen have a strong move as the market has rallied over the last couple of weeks. But this one, for the most part, Ken, does seem like it is lacking on the volume side, at least so far.
Well, that's definitely the major yellow flag here because it made a nice move above that 35 level, but you can see volume has been pretty light throughout most of this uptrend here. So you can see it tried to break out over that 40, 42, 43 pivot. It's kind of falling back in here. This stock for most of the day had been, trading well off lows, trading nice and tight, and it kind of got pulled down late with the broad market. But still like the way commercial metals is training. Or North American operations are primarily recycling facilities, fabrication operations, and they make steel as well. So nice setup here, and it could either try to clear this handle or it could move back into buy zone from this double bottom entry. Like the way it's holding gains though after a nice move, and could see more upside here.
Yeah, and Group 26. So commercial metals and its peers have also really been on the move in a way that is making it stand up in those industry group rankings. And Ken, your thoughts on the fundamentals here? Are really improving.
Yeah, really outstanding. So a big year of demand this year. You can see annual earnings expected to be up 150%. The big decline next year, probably just because of maybe a tough comparison, but recent earnings and sales growth is just what we want to see. Triple-digit earnings growth. You got meaningful revenue jumps in recent quarters. So fundamentals pass muster, technicals pass muster. A good one to watch. And like I said, the way it's setting up here, if this market can hold itself together, we could see higher prices.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you for that review, Ken, and thanks everyone for tuning in. The team will see you back tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we are talking about potentially actionable trade ideas for the first 90 minutes of the session, interacting with you the whole way through, and we are always excited to do it. It's the brightest part of our day. Isn't that right, Ken?
Absolutely. Good show this morning. It'll be another good one tomorrow.
That's right. So check it out, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. We will see you there, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow after the close.